Mists of Pandaria Remix. Is this the future of WoW? I've made some comments about this that I feel like this could change leveling forever. But let's see what Zuggypoo has to say about the WoW Remix event.
In 2015, during Warlords of Draenor, they added time walking into World of Warcraft. A way to go back in time and go do some of the older content that the game used to offer.
Time walking was cool.
Some of the old dungeons and eventually some of the raids. And in these you were able to get all new rewards. And for the longest time, I have really wanted them to expand on this. And yeah, over the years we got a couple new raids and we got a couple new dungeons. But
True.
that's about it. I wanted something big and something that could be a main focus of the game. But finally, after nearly 10 years of time walking, we're getting like a time walking expansion, it feels like. And I'm of course talking about the new Mists of Pandaria Remix event.
Yes.
This thing has been sitting on that WoW 2024 roadmap and everybody was wondering what it was. Honestly, I just thought it was going to be the Mists of Pandaria time walking event, but maybe they'd do all the dungeons.
I was hoping for some cool open world content, to be completely honest with you guys. I wanted like some really cool open world, go back to Pandaria and do a bunch of people everywhere doing shit. That's kind of what we got, but in its own event, like its own separate server thing. If you guys saw people were testing it out, there were people everywhere running around Pandaria. It looked really cool just because of how populous it was.
A couple of raids, but this, now looking back, looks like it could be fun. In this event, you make a brand new character and you hop into Pandaria and you level up all over again. You can't hop into this with your retail character. You have to make a new one. And now this thing did drop up on the PTR, and I don't usually like doing PTR stuff, okay? I'll be honest, PTR isn't my thing, or betas aren't usually my thing. I like to wait for the main thing to come out. I like to wait for the expansions, the patches, all that stuff. But since I was making this video anyway, you know, I had to try it out just a little bit. And when I first tried to make my character a Death Knight, it said I couldn't make a Death Knight until I had a level 10 character. So I made a Hunter, but the Hunter started at level 10. So since he was level 10, I could...
That seems broken as shit. What? You should be able to make... Maybe he didn't have any on his account? Or did you need one in the Mists of Pandaria Remix event to make a Death Knight? Because that's silly, because all the characters, if you don't know, if you make a character in the WoW Remix event, they start at level 10. So he literally had to go create another character just so he could make a Death Knight. I'm sure they're going to fix that. That doesn't seem right.
Now make a Death Knight. So I made a Death Knight. A Goblin Death Knight, of course, because that's what I usually play. I'm sorry, I'm not actually playing as an orc. This is just a character. And this event started out at the Timeless Isle, and you're with some Infinite Dragon members, and I'm sure there was some sort of story being explained as I was...
There was a story. It was really cool, actually, and I'm glad they did add some lore to this thing, but the Infinite Dragon Flight was opening this portal up so people could do this stuff, and there's some really cool lore behind it. I didn't get all of it, because I kind of caught some of these streams midway through, but a lot of the streamers were commenting on the fact they're like, oh, there's a story for this. That's really cool, and the story's relevant to retail. So I think that was a nice little tie-in that they did there. It was probably having tech issues. Yeah, I think they're going to fix that Death Knight thing, obviously. That just seems broken.
Killing these enemies and closing portals. But I didn't want to pay attention to the story because, like I said, this is just the PTR. I want to wait for the main game to come out before I really start paying attention and getting... and immersing myself into it. I'm pretty sure I was having this glitch because I saw other people who weren't having this problem, where none of my stuff from retail really carried over to the PTR, and I was a little bit upset at first because I didn't have all my mounts or all my transmogs, but I kind of wish that they would do it like that. It'd be kind of cool if the game came out and everybody was running around in Mists of Pandaria gear using mounts from Mists of Pandaria. It would just fit the vibe of the time walking or whatever. I don't know. I think it would be cool. I know other people want to use their stuff. They want to use their mounts. They want to use their transmogs.
By the way, he didn't even mention it.
Opinion,
okay? He didn't even mention it, but like real quick, he's dragon riding around Pandaria. That's a really cool thing. I didn't even know they were going to allow this, but yes, the time running, the Pandaria Remix event, you can dragon ride around Pandaria, which is a really cool thing.
Okay, and there is also dragon riding in this, which you can do right away. And I saw.
See, I don't pre-watch the videos. He just mentioned it.
But there's a lot of people upset about this.
I gotta let the man cook.
This isn't Mr. Pandaria at all. Mr. Pandaria had quests that weren't designed around you having flying at the beginning. Well, guess what, guys? Who would have thought this isn't Mr. Pandaria?
No, it's not.
It's Mr. Pandaria Remix. So that means things are going to be...
Yeah, if they want a true Mists of Pandaria, experience, they can play classic Mists of Pandaria, which would probably come out soon.
Be different. And what's different? Oh, dragon riding, something that people think is great. So yeah, we're going to put the great gameplay mechanic in the new thing. And I also think that there's a lot of people who thought going in that this was going to be Mop Classic for some reason. Why would Mop Classic be coming out when Cataclysm isn't even out yet? Why would anybody think that this is Mop Classic? Now, I could understand you being upset if you think
I wonder if they're going to do a Mop Classic. I do think Mists of Pandaria Classic would be more popular than Cataclysm Classic. I feel like Mists of Pandaria was an expansion that a lot of people missed out on because they didn't give it a chance because of the Panda Boys. But it was actually a great expansion. I enjoyed Mop a lot. So I do feel like a lot of people would play Classic Mop to actually experience Mists of Pandaria. But whether or not they're going to do it, I have no idea. We'll have to see how Cataclysm Classic does, I guess.
Supposed to be a replacement for Mop Classic.
I didn't really like
to be honest, I don't really care if this is a replacement for Mop Classic because I have no interest in Classic past Wrath of the Lich King because it's not Classic anymore. But I did keep playing, and for the most part, it was just Mists of Pandaria questing. I'm sure there's going to be more quests, and I'm sure there's going to be newer quests added in that gives some kind of bigger story of why we're time traveling or something. I don't know. But like I said, again, it's PTR. I don't want to immerse myself into the story or none of that yet. But I did notice some new things while leveling. All the old world drops were pretty much removed, and every single quest didn't give the old gear, it gave these loot boxes. And the new drops from enemies out in the world were actually semi-useful things like consumables. There was one-time use hearthstones to nearby inns.
Yeah, and you get this bronze. It's amazing. Bronze, a single currency that does everything in the game. You can buy gear, you can upgrade gear, you can scrap gear, and it's all through bronze. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. They created a single currency for World of Warcraft. What a mind-blowing concept. In retail, we've got like 365 currencies, and every time a patch comes out, we get 365 more. It's ridiculous.
Hearthstones to nearby inns.
Single currency.
Items to summon party members, even if you're not a warlock. There was actually some good stuff, and not just junk that you're selling at the vendor. And the loot that you do get that you don't want, you don't have to throw it away for gold either, because you can scrap it for this new thing.
For what? For bronze.
Thing called bronze, which is the new main currency. And because there's no auction house, gold is essentially useless. So all you want is bronze. And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this. I do know an auction house and an economy is kind of
auction house. Yeah, okay, fine, that would exist. But the bronze is fucking amazing. You guys know I don't even understand. I don't even try to keep up with the names anymore of the systems. I literally made up my own. I'm like myth crests and heroic crests. I don't care what the crest names are. I don't understand them. You know, flight stones, I call them the stony things. It doesn't matter to me anymore because this currency will be irrelevant, and then the next currency will come around. I got to learn all the new currency. I don't care. Just give me a one currency. Come on.
Important part to an MMO, but you know, this is something different, so I'm willing to try new things. Just like how SOD didn't have GDKPs for the new phase, you know, maybe this will be just something a little bit different, and I'm willing to try it out just to see how it is. I'm not saying it's going to be a good thing that there's no auction house, but the new currency bronze is used to buy pretty much everything in the game.
It's awesome.
I'm talking all the rewards, the mounts, the toys, the transmogs, all the good stuff to upgrade your abilities, and I'm sure there's even more stuff that I don't even know about yet that you can use it for. You can even buy some of the old rare mounts from Mists of Pandaria, like the world drop mounts, some of the raid drop mounts, but bronze. They do cost way more than the newer mounts. So if you have the old ones like me, you don't have to spend all that time grinding bronze to buy this stuff. So you saved yourself a lot of time grinding bronze. But if you're not very lucky with the 1% drop chance, this is an alternative so that you can grind and get it. Now, as I was leveling, I did do a few dungeons because, well, you know, dungeons plus questing is probably the way to go, and I could avoid story quests if I hopped in some dungeons.
I actually heard from some other streamers that raiding is kind of the way to level up. It's a great way to level up, and if you haven't seen people raid in Mists of Pandaria REMIX yet, it's insanity. They delete bosses. If you go in with an actual raid, the raid boss will like go from 50% to like 0 in a matter of seconds. It's crazy to watch, especially if everyone has gems and they're powered up as shit. But it's also a great way to level up. That's what I've heard. Is like you get a ton of XP by clearing a raid, so people are doing that.
I did die a couple times in these dungeons, so it's not like
basically,
they were super
quest, queue up,
easy.
And then go do the raid.
It was a little weird because I was level 10 in some of these dungeons, and I didn't have any of my main class abilities, so I felt like I was pretty useless. And I didn't even install a damage meter because I didn't want to be embarrassed by low amount of damage because I was level 10 with no ability.
Yeah, tweaks. See, the problem is using gold for everything wouldn't work because you can buy gold. That's the problem. If you use gold to buy gear and mounts and everything else in the game, you've essentially made the game pay to win. So it can't be gold. But like the currency they made here, bronze, where you can sell your gear, you can use it to buy gear, you can use it to buy mounts, you get it by looting it from doing things like that works. That's fine. And that's the way I think that's the way they should do things. But they just love making new currencies. I don't know what it is.
Abilities. And I did all this until I got up to level 25, and I could do the first raid along the way. Because like Season of Discovery and this Mr. Pandaria remix, there's raids you can do while you level up. Like at level 25, you can do Mogushan Vaults. And I hopped in the first wing of this, and man, I know this is LFR, but the boss died before I could even catch up with the group. Like,
Yeah,
I was running
I'm
to
telling
the
you,
boss,
it's crazy
and he was
if you
dead
watch.
before I got to him. But you know, we'll see how it goes on other difficulties. Maybe it'll be different. Who knows? I tried to do the second wing of the raid too, but the boss kept despawning every time we tried to attack him, so I kind of gave up there. And that's also where I stopped playing the PTR for now because, you know, I don't want to grind again. All right, I want to wait for it to come out to really grind.
That Phoenix
I don't
is
care
really
about
cool.
playing the PTR when it's not going to matter in a month. But my overall thoughts, okay, this is probably going to be a fun event for me. I think I'm going to play it a little bit. I'm going to grind up to get all the mounts that I need because I'm close to getting the 500 mount achievement in retail, so I need every mount I can get. But I don't hate Mr. Pandaria either, and I'm excited to try to collect some of the other rewards. Like maybe they put the challenge mode sets back in. Now I know they're not doing the original challenge mode sets, but maybe they'll still do the challenge mode dungeons.
Maybe
and you can get the
recolors. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm sure other people have more information than me, so don't get mad at me. I am excited actually to get some of the transmog rewards too, like the Pandaren hat, the chicken backpack, and of course some of the big mounts like the gold astral cloud serpent.
One really cool thing, we talked about it this morning, we realized that the tier sets that you loot from the raids are not class bound. Like they are slightly bound to some classes, but like the rogue tier set I believe was able to be equipped by it was rogues, monks, and demon hunters could wear the rogue tier set, which is kind of crazy, right? No tier sets have been able to be worn like that. For paladins, like death knights, paladins, and warriors could wear the paladin tier set that's looted from the raids in the remix event. And this is not just a remix event thing, right? It transfers over to your real account. So you could run around as a death knight wearing a paladin tier set. Now, how I feel about it, I was telling you guys, I'm kind of conflicted because I like class, fantasy and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. But if you're a transmogger and you love that shit, I mean, this event's perfect for you.
Other Phoenix mount. I got that one in the PTR.
Oh, Druids. Yeah, it was Druids. You're right, for the rogue set.
That'll be a fun one just to grab real quick. And overall, I think this is supposed to be a fun game mode. You know, I know it's a limited time event. I'm really curious to see how limited of a time event it's going to be. Is this going to be a thing that lasts a couple of months? Just 1 month? There's no way it's just 1 month, right? It's got to be like at least 3. And then to see what they're going to do after this. Because after this, are they going to do a Warlords of Draenor remix? Because that actually could be a lot different. And I would love to see them make tons of changes to Warlords of Draenor to make it fun, you know? And I hope this does well because I would actually like to see this remix thing done with tons of other expansions. And actually, I hope they do some sort of vanilla remix in retail where we go back to the old world.
Be cool.
And maybe they'll do that in the next expansion because I know Chris Metzen said that in World of Warcraft Midnight or whatever the second expansion that they're doing is, that we're going to have an old world revamp. So maybe we get an old world revamp with some vanilla remix and we do old dungeons and raids in vanilla. I don't know. It could be fun. Anyways, I'm curious to see you guys' comments down below, what you guys think of the Mr. Pandaria remix. If you've been playing the PTR, if you've been waiting, if you're excited, if you don't care. I'm sure there's people that are upset because they want real Mr. Pandaria classic, and I hope you get it if that's what you want.
They'll probably get it
I don't think that is really classic, and you know, they should probably stop after Cataclysm. But that's just my opinion. If you have your opinion, I respect that. But I'll for sure be making another video about this Mr. Pandaria remix once it actually comes out, because I'll play it a lot, because I'm definitely getting all the mounts and doing all the fun stuff.
I think a lot of people
But anyways, that's all I got to say today. I'm going to go play some more. I got to catch up on some Season of Discovery and maybe do some Plunder Storming too. So, yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, Zug if you made it to the end. See ya.
Yeah, you see what he just described there at the end? He was like, I'm going to go do some Plunder Storm, some Season of Discovery. Like, that's what's good about WoW right now, honestly. Some people are like, oh, it's dividing the player base. No, it's just keeping people busy while they wait for other things to happen. I promise you, when the War Within comes out, even when the pre-patch comes out for the War Within, you're going to have like 90+% of your player base jumping back into retail, which is good. The good thing is you kept those guys around, right? You don't have to like get them to resub or anything. They were subbed the whole time. So it keeps this larger player base ready to jump into whatever you're creating. That's why I'm fine with all this stuff. And as far as the remix events go, I hope they keep bringing them back. I hope every once in a while, maybe towards the end of an expansion like this, we get a remix event of a different expansion. This way people can always say like, oh, I want to level an alt. I'm just going to wait till the next remix event. That should be fun and some cool new content to do. For sure. I think this is going to be fun. A lot of people are going to do it, and I'm glad they're experimenting with things like this.